said, do you know that that man you are working for Boaz is related to your husband? By tradition, he is right to marry you. So go ahead. So what do I do? He said, Lord, I will tell you. I know Boaz. Boaz has been born before we left for one. He said to her, Boaz is a drunkard. And I will teach you how to live with him. He said, okay, what do I do? He said, when you go tonight, don't come back. Take your best perfume. Take your best clothes. That man is a drunkard, and every drunkard is also a womanizer. So don't bother coming back. Just when work has closed, hide somewhere. Watch him. When he finishes drinking, sleep him there. And anything he asks you to do, do it. Ladies and gentlemen, she gave Ruth the key to trap Boaz down. The rest is history. And that Boaz became the father of Obed. Obed became the father of Jesse. And Jesse became the father of David. And Jesus is referred to as son of David. That was how Ruth ended up in the genealogy of Jesus. But she started from Moab. But in this context this morning, here is a man who took over from his father and decided to subject the people that has been slaves to his father to also make them slaves. Can I tell you something, church? If you don't fight what fought your father will fight you. If you don't stand against the things that stood against your father, the same person that killed your father, if you don't take care, will also be the same person to kill you. And this young man, Misha, woke up one morning and called Jehoram, the son of Ahab. He said, hey, your father made me slave. Your father made my people slave. But boy, I can't remain your slave. So the number one key to bounce back is to revolt against whatever has kept you down. Revolt against them. Rebel against them. No, it can't remain, it can't be like this. It can't continue like this. Let me say to them, I can't end up like this. One of the ways that you revolt is by getting what I call holy anger. Get angry in your spirit. Why Reverend Barnabas was ministering, he talked about a lady called Anna. I tell people that Anna was my elder sister. Now everybody knows Anna, that anytime she comes to Shiloh, all she does is to stay outside. When Shiloh finishes, Anna will just come and begin to drink. So Eli had seen Anna several times drinking. But this year, Anna came to Shiloh and said, it's not time to drink. What happened? Anna made a discovery. What was the discovery? While praise and worship was going on, Anna weighed the atmosphere and discovered that the glory is not powerful. Something has happened. How did Anna know? The Bible said Eli the priest left the altar and sat by the door. What is he doing by the door? Is he an usher? When did the high priest become the protocol? That he now left the altar where he was supposed to be and sat by the door. And Anna checked. No. This glory is not the glory I saw last year. Something is missing. Because the priest who will bring down the presence of God has left the altar. Sir, anytime you want to bounce back, God creates a national disaster. And when you key into it, national disaster becomes your opportunity. So, there are certain things we don't give attention to. During the flood in Nigeria, some people became billionaires overnight because they keyed into the national disaster. Joseph came into Egypt and saw a national disaster. And he said to Pharaoh, the only thing to do is to raise a man who will store food for 7 years. So during the 7 years of abundance, he will store food. And in the 7 years of scarcity, the food will be used. is always temporary. The Bible said the moment they ate the fruit of Canaan, manna ceased. So God just brought manna for a little while to sustain them. But the moment they ate the fruit, manna ended. They never saw anything called manna again. Why? Because warfare is temporary. Revolt against everything that has held you down. Rebel against them. Only rebellious is allowed. Satan, I changed my mind. It was that kind of rebellion that entered the heart of Esther. And Esther said, if I perish, I perish. And must go into the cave. And when God saw that Esther, what happened? Let me tell you a little story. The Amalekites were the first nation that fought Israel. When Israel left Egypt, they've never fought war before. And the Amalekites came against them. And God looked at the Amalekites and said, Moses, fight them. But I make you a promise today. I will completely wipe out the Amalekites. Sir, check the map of the world. You will see Syria. You will see Lebanon. You will see Damascus. You will see Babylon, which is the present day Iraq and Iran. But sir, you can never see any trace of Amalek. Why? God said, I will completely wipe them off. There will be no trace of Amalek. What did they do? They stood against Israel at the point of joy. I prophesy to you. Whoever is standing against you at the point of joy, God will wipe them out for you. God will wipe them out for you. Let me shout a better amen. And that's what happened. The Amalekites kept fighting the people. Now, it came to the point and the time of David. David went for war. Before David could return back to Ziklag, the same Amalek came and took the wife of the soldiers, took everything they left. And the Bible said the people took stones to stone David. You took us to war. Now the Amalekites has invaded us. And the Bible said nobody was there to encourage David. But he recorded. And David encouraged himself in the Lord. David inquired of the Lord, should I pursue? Will I overtake? Or will I recover more? God said, yes, pursue. You will overtake and you will also bounce back. You need to revolt against certain things that has held you down. You need to revolt against certain things that is working against your destiny. So, the same Amalek, when David finished fighting them, one man escaped. One man escaped. And that man's name was Haman. Haman ran to Babylon and waited. Now, a time came that Babylon took the Jews as captives. And the Bible recorded that there was a man who is a Jew, who is a dead man. Excuse me, sir. How can the vice president be envious of the gate man? If not that the Lord has appointed him for that. Anytime he's coming, he will blow the horn, and Mordecai will open the gate. He will look at him. This man is a gate man. I hate him. I don't just like him. A gate man and the vice president. Imagine that Osibajo gets to his house and sees the man that is his gate man. Why is this man prospering? He is the vice president, but he hates the gate man. And the Bible said he began to plan how to kill the gate man. Why? There is something in the DNA of the Amalekites that reacts against the Jews whenever they see them. And that thing in their DNA is always desiring to extinguish the Jews. And the Bible said this same man Mordecai saved the king, but was never remembered. But one night God took away sleep from the eyes of the king. And the king couldn't sleep until he opened the book of the Chronicles. And the Bible said when he opened it, the only thing he could find was that Mordecai saved the king and nothing was done for him. And then the Bible says something. All things work together for good to them that love God, who are the called according to his purpose. And then a beauty contest was prepared. And Mordecai told Esther, you can be one of them. Go. Now when Esther came in, Mordecai said to Esther, don't reveal your identity. Don't tell them you are a Jew. Because once Haman hears you are a Jew, he won't allow you. So, when Esther entered into the palace, Mordecai made a statement and said, it may be that for a time like this, God brought you in here. If you don't act and if you don't do anything, we are all going to die. And that was when Esther said, everybody fast for me for 3 days. And after the 3 days fasted, I will go to the king. And if I perish, I perish. You need to come to a point in your life where you make up your mind and say, if I die in it, I don't care, but I will do the right thing. If I perish, I perish. Revolt and rebel against the enemy. Put up a holy rebellion against every power that is holding you down. React He said one of the days Jesus came and was talking with him. And Satan also came and was distracting them. He said he was expecting Jesus to rebuke Satan. Jesus did not. So while the noise became what? Jesus left. And Satan also left. The next time Jesus came, Satan also came and was distracting them. And when the noise became what? Jesus left. Satan left. So the third time, Jesus also came. Satan came. And while he was talking with Jesus, Satan began to make noise. He now got out and said, Satan, will you get out of this place and let me listen to my master? He said, Satan left. He now asked Jesus, why is it that all this while you have refused to rebuke Satan? Jesus said to him, it's not in my hand to rebuke him, it's in your hand. I've given you the power to rebuke Satan. So if you don't rebuke him, he will still be there oppressing you. Let me tell you about revolt against the enemy. That one was a neighbor. React against them. You know, I keep hearing people say the best form of defense is to attack. Most times you need to react. Be the one to raise the war. Don't let them always be the first. The king of Moab said, hey, enough. We can't remain your slave. Hey, you see that thing I bring for you at the end of every year? Don't expect it this year, I won't give it to you again. He said, see this boy, so you have grown to challenge me. He said, it's not about challenge. I'm telling you that enough is enough for monkey the walk upon the job. How can we walk from January to December and we're working for one person? Can I prophesy to you? Whatever makes you to see wealth and cannot walk into it, today has been destroyed. Today it has been destroyed. Friends, this man said, enough is enough. But the guy said to Esther, if you don't react, we will all die. And guess what? Esther knew that the only way to get the king's attention is to prepare a party. He came to the king and said, King, please, can you come for a banquet in my chambers? The king said, no problem. He said, when you are coming, bring this man that is with you. Bring Haman. Come along. And the Bible said, the king and Haman came and ate the food. So one thing that shocked me was that Haman was eating Esther's food while he was still planning how to deal with Esther. He was there eating the food and was thinking how to kill the Jews. When they finished eating, the king said, Esther, can you tell me what you want? Because this kind of food you cooked is not an ordinary one. Something must be attached to it. What do you want? What is it that you are asking for? Esther said, well, sir, come back tomorrow and eat again. The Bible said the next day they came back again. And guess what? When they finished this time around, the king said, Esther, make a request. Esther said, well, the only thing I want to ask for is that somebody in this kingdom has decided to wipe me and my people out. King, please intervene. Because if you don't intervene, we will be dead. The king said, what? Who? He said, is it not this wicked man here eating my food? The king turned and looked at him and said, you prepared against Esther. And the Bible said the king got angry and walked away. Guess what happened? Esther went to, Haman went to Esther and knelt down and said, please, Esther, beg the king not to touch me. The Bible said the king came back and saw that Haman was begging. Sir, Haman was begging, but what the king saw was a picture of rape. He said, will you also rape her in my presence? He said, no, sir, I'm not raping. I said, no, this is rape. He was begging. Listen to me, when God decides to fight your battle, he changes pictures. When God decides to show something in your life, what others see, God will change it. You know, the same thing that happened to Haman was the same thing that happened to Joseph. In the land of Egypt, the crime of rape has a capital punishment. And by right, the moment Potiphar's wife said to her husband, Joseph attempted to rape me, Joseph's head automatically is supposed to be beheaded. But because God was involved, he said, okay, honey, don't worry, I'll handle Joseph. I'll put him in the prison. He was not supposed to go to prison. He was supposed to be beheaded. But when God is involved in a matter, everything that happens works for good. When God shows up, he said, keep him in the prison, I will see to it. Probably he forgot Joseph in the prison. And God began to arrange in the house of Pharaoh. And when Joseph was brought out, they said, shame him. When they were shaving Joseph, they thought they were trying to clean him up. No, they were not. What happened is that in Egypt, the Egyptians don't keep their beards. It is only the Jews that keep their beards. So they have to prepare Joseph and make him acceptable to the king. He has to look like them so that the king can accept him.